part?
Yeah, manage. I didn't bring my cheat sheet with me today, which was silly, but anyway, so now we're live. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry. This is from this, will be left, but I'll have one of those. And then these are the things I accidentally copied. I want to copy them myself, but I didn't.
Is that the stuff from yesterday?
Well, no, this is actually what I'm going to say. But I went ahead and made a whole thing of it. So if you guys want it, just for the sake of, you know. So we have that. This is what we're doing today. So I accidentally made extra copies. This is, that's my actual.
So this is at the bottom. That's from yesterday.
Yeah. So we can just stick those under here.
You don't.
Oh, actually,
This I already have a copy of.
well, yeah, if you don't want it. I did put it, probably.
That's a new one.
Yeah, that's.
These two.
Yeah, so you can keep that if you want. Here's extra paper. Okay, so.
So you only have one left.
Okay. Here's just extra sheets. Okay. Hi. Good morning. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry for not bringing eggs. The girls are kind of giving up on it. They go into molting season and they stop producing. And so it's like I only get like 2 eggs a day.
When we were in, I forgot how France is so about eggs. I mean, French knit, French cheesecake, I mean, everything, you know.
It's just really eggy.
And I love it so much. And my brother is so funny. He and his husband are, you know, I told her big Francophiles, but Brian is French. Anyway, so they go there a lot, and they're all perfect on it. So yeah, we did that when we were in Paris. It was pretty fun.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good.
And I've been trying to get them. It takes now a week to get a dozen out of the chips.
Oh, no, I don't. I'm glad they're doing well.
Oh yeah, no, they're doing good. It's just, you know, it's winter time, so they just don't produce as much.
Yeah.
But you get them in spring, it's just gonna be blood.
Yeah, she was making those omelets.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I do casseroles, it's like massive casseroles, and subdivide those, in 2 weeks.
I made a chef at Michelin. Is that right? Michelin star chefs that stay with us. I've done a couple of our recipes that she gave us. I think I'm doing something wrong because they're just it looks like when she did it. So I don't know if it's the quality of the eggs or what.
Okay.
It's not good.
Yeah. We're beginners.
Yeah.
So we just kind of do our own thing.
Yeah. One trick I did learn was to use cottage cheese. When you're whipping up the scrambled eggs, to throw in like a scoop of the whole milk. Cottage cheese.
We do half and
Yeah.
half and half for, I'll actually just do it with the Greek yogurt.
I've tried that.
It's the same as cottage cheese.
Yeah.
Gives you a creamier taste.
Well, we still have about 5 minutes left, but I wanted to just kind of start a little bit here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start. We have still 5 minutes before the show begins officially, but just because Linda, you weren't here yesterday, you might introduce yourself to these guys. There will be some more people here, but maybe not a lot. Yesterday we had 12 people, but I knew that a lot of people couldn't come today, and they're going to be doing it this way, which is always available too. So, okay, we can just wait a second. And yeah, today I know you know a lot about this. Linda also teaches here. And she was also in the Shanti teacher training and all that. So she probably knows a lot of this stuff. But what is anything that stood out to you that you might want to just tell Linda about that we did yesterday that might be to kind of give her a clue as far as what we did? Something that maybe you enjoyed or didn't enjoy or whatever.
I really like focusing on moving our breath all the way from the root all the way to the top and back down again, and making sure that we're relaxing the base nerve and allowing flow.
Yeah.
So I thought yesterday really trying to focus on that. It was really helpful for me. Nice.
I did too. It was really great. Jennifer did that, and it was so cool that she was able to. She was able to, just pick that up and just go with it. It really changed everything for me in the posture. It just really was like, wow.
2 minutes. Oh, 2 minutes.
Could you put her just a little bit up here? Yeah, right there. She can see better in that position. That's why she's there. This is April. April's legally blind. She can see little shadows and things, but it's hard other than that. So, and also her hearing is not great. So this is why that's her place. So, yeah. What's that? It really is.
Experience wise, your students say they agree.
Back there, it's really. Me too.
I try to remember
Well, you did.
that being here or not.
It's just really, and also they have an air purifier that goes all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that doesn't help a lot. Yeah. Oh, Jennifer has her orange pants on. Cute. Let's see. So, Dave, if you hadn't received this yet, I passed this out. And what else did I give you guys?
There's just that from
Yeah.
today.
I do have a few other things that I accidentally made extra copies of, but, and April, I can send you a PDF if you want. Yeah, okay. I'll just do that. One thing I accidentally made extra copies of because I just was going to talk about it and not really make a full-on pattern or plate or copy. I do have about 6 copies, so if everybody wants.
You know what you got for today?
Yeah, you can take that, and so there's also this in case I do have extra copies. I just,
Leave that for somebody else.
and this is about the Gunas. I think so. There's more left if anybody wants this extra copy of Gunas, or maybe if you want paper to write on later on, because it will be journaling. So yeah, and this
I don't have like a workbook something else.
yeah, so different from my training. Yeah. So you just want to take that at the end.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of new. Yeah. So these are extras. Okay, and we don't have people from online yet. Okay. Okay. So this may or may not be August coming. We'll see. And if it feels like you guys want to move more around, we can do that. What I was just asking people to do is, because Linda had not been here before, I was going to have you pair up. A really good technique to do if you've been in this training before. I'll have people pair up, and we actually have, we have enough, we could do that with people. But to start out with, if there's something that you struck out to you about yesterday that you just wanted to kind of share with the group. So Ashley has already pointed out that she loved, as did I, that breathing way down to so the breath was following the vagus nerve, and then taking that into the practice, into the physical postures. That was really cool. That was very impactful for me as well. Yep. So does anybody else have something that they'd like to share? That, I can
I
make.
have a lot more work to do on the vagus nerve. I have not studied it in depth, but I know how powerful it is. But I could not help but make the connection between, like, wondering, like how like our biggest energy up and down our spine, the Sushumna, or Sushumna,
Yeah.
and how maybe like that translates into this modern vagus nerve, that the sages we're kind of talking about that energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So
Totally.
I can't help but to make, want to make that connection.
I can't help it either. And the other thing is, we're such nerds, of course, all of us, but also the HPA loop goes down. And so you know how the Sushumna, the center channel, the center river, is the Ida and the Pingala, the feminine and the masculine. And of course, the vagus nerve would be considered more feminine or more yin energy. And the HPA loop, obviously, yang, or sympathetic nervous system. Again, did they just sit around and go, yeah, there's these, I can feel it. Did they just feel that there's this action going on down the center axis of their body? It's pretty amazing to, like you say, just can't help. And then the whole concept of developing the chakras, and it's pretty amazing.
It's all the energetic
Yeah,
body itself.
yeah, it's really, really cool.
There's also the connection of Arabic, the three different types.
The doshas.
The
Yeah.
doshas. Just like, okay.
Yeah.
And so, in my mind, I see this Venn diagram happening where you're trying to get to the center. But
Yes.
you have the blends that are going on.
Yeah. That one balance, and inside that is, the 5 different elements.
Mhm.
And then our 5 koshas, and different layers within us, and the mudras, and
Yes.
That takes me into the medicine
yeah,
and brings all that same philosophy and energy together. Okay, so it's making those connections outside of, but bringing it in.
yes, and that is the non-dualistic approach that the lineage of yoga, or at least some of the branches, really discuss. Is how do you recognizing what is within us is outside of us.
Exactly. I was looking for this little picture, and I knew I had it in one of my journals. I brought a couple journals here. Maybe I did, maybe this is one. But anyway, it was just talking about that non-dualism, that we are all microcosms of the macrocosm. We're the true self, the individual self, Atman, is just part of that bigger piece. Is that kind of what you studied in your school, Ashley? Yeah. So I think if you have ever wanted to throw out some stuff from your different perspective, is it okay if I ask about this school? Was it one that's here in Boise, or was it a different?
Yeah, I trained at Yoga 6.
Oh, okay.
Brandy and Maria and Libby.
Okay.
Instructors.
Libby was a graduate of our program.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
and Libby was also going through an Ayurveda program with Hatson, right? At the same time as my training, so she actually incorporated a lot of teachings Ayurveda. She's like actively in the program. And
Yeah.
going through it.
I've been thinking about doing that program.
The warrior woman.
Yeah.
Very, very good stuff. So.
Oh, wow. Well, good.
What I didn't make the connection on though, until you shared yesterday, was like kind of the concept of like where there's these preset seasons, right? It's like 3 seasons based on where you are in time of year, that you could be internally into a different season, and how you share that balance those 2 out.
Have you ever done a dosha test? So go online and just look up free dosha test, and it'll walk you through and will let you know, like, if you're like, for me, I'm Vata. I'm like pure Vata.
I'm pure Vata too. I'm just crazy Vata. It's,
So it will tell you kind of like, you know, what your primary force is, and then kind of what that secondary force is, and so it's, try to find one online that are accurate, because it really is like a personality assessment.
I'm going to, Deepa's here, but she's going to be online, so I'm going to say hi to her. Yes, it's fascinating, and it's so fun to have this. Oh, and there's Marcy's here too, and there's Carly. Okay, so we have 3 people. This is really fun, and it's working out pretty well, although I might have to have Doug follow me around, because I got almost to the last point, and then I was like, I don't know what you did, but I made my way here. So, yeah, I'm thinking of a rock song again right now. So anyway, make my way back home. Yeah. Okay. So, anything else anybody like to share? Okay. Well, I just loved it. I really loved one thing is Jennifer's always going back to Svadhyaya. Svadhyaya, or however you want to pronounce it, people pronounce it a little differently, self-study. The last 3 go together of the niyamas, the Svadhyaya, tapas, and the Ishvari Pranadhana. So do you know about that? Okay, so the yamas, so the 8 limbs of yoga, you know, they have the yamas, the niyamas, asana, pranayama, and then they have pratyahara, which is kind of where we're at right now, because we yesterday were kind of more into the more grounding practices of the yamas and niyamas are very, they're the ground rules. They're the ethics of yoga, and they come first because that's very, very important. Then asana, the practice, then pranayama, and then we're going to be entering today into the pratyahara, with now moving on up to the higher levels. But the last 3 niyamas oftentimes go together, and that is Svadhyaya. First you study self-study. And Jennifer, that was so much the heart of her practice, and that's really the point of the pause. The point of the pause is to be able to become more present so you can self-study. And I just thought that was really brought out well. You just really, it was like, oh, yeah. Because you had that first question, and you brought it up afterwards at the end. And so that was kind of the point of, we cleared our mind, which is kind of the pratyahara. We're going to clear our mind of all the clutter in there, and then we can really look at ourselves and see our patterns. We can see our doshas and how the seasons affect who we are. We can, whatever terms you put on it, we can see more clearly. As Stevie Wonder says, see, I'm just going to be at night. I've been listening at night while my husband watches Netflix music, old 60s music, so my brain is just kind of in that place. But then what comes next after Svadhyaya is you do the work, tapas. So you look at yourself, but if you're just sitting around navel gazing, you know, you're not going to think about it. So tapas is you do the work, you make a commitment. And then, of course, Ishvari Pranidhana is the 3rd one of that very important trilogy of niyamas that is, but then you give it up. You give up it. You give it up to Ishvari Pranidhana means it means different things to different people. It could mean God. That's what the word is used a lot. but God can mean many, many things to us all. Each of us have an individual vision of what that is, or feel in our heart of what it is. But basically, it's what Jen first started out with, or one of you guys talking about duality. It's that we're not separate. We're not. This is a non-dual belief system. It's not like you're this and you're that, and we're separate. But so we give it up to the greater good, so to speak. We do our work. It's our duty, it's our dharma to do our work, to understand ourselves and to peel off the layers. The Buddhists call it diamond cutting, to get rid of the things, the chips, the mud, whatever is on us, and really see, oh wow, this is my true nature, and it's a diamond, and it's something I'm offering to the world. So I really, really like that. So yeah, the way those three work together. Any questions about that, or anybody want to add anything to that? Any of you guys? And if it's easier for you, because I don't always look at the phone right here. Jen, oh, here. Thank you, Marcy. And Marcy, yes, Marcy said, I think you can see this, Deepa. I love the pathophysiology of stress and effects to the body, which I talked about a little bit, but Deepa, also that's what she's studying. That's her, she's studying neurophysiology or biophysiology. And then Marcy also says, Jen taught us we can be in Vata, but be in another season, recognize and correct or adjust to make the seasons refine our teaching. Yep. And I think that's the beauty, again, of the Ayurvedic system is, it's not like, I went on an Ayurvedic cleanse for quite a while and loved it. And what I loved about it is, it's not like, okay, you have to give up anything. At first you do. At first you cleanse your body. You eat lentils a lot and cook vegetables and all that kind of stuff. But then you start, exploring what works with your dosha. So as a Vata, I'm not going to say people should be eating meat if you really don't feel you should, but sometimes I feel I need that iron that to ground me. So we can look at our unique makeup, biological makeup, the combination of the 5 elements, and see how the world can be affecting it at any time. And the books on Ayurveda are just great by David Frawley. He goes into great length about how this works and what to do and all that.
That's one of the best foundational books, I think, is this yoga and Ayurveda.
Yeah, it's a really good book. I did bring the handout that I'll send to you all is a bunch of reading list, and I didn't put that one on, but I should have. So, I'll try to remember to add that to it. But that would be a really good book for understanding and figuring out how this all works. So the 5 elements, I think, again, we're going to see that same thing played out when we talk about koshas, when we talk about, just the chakra system, all this stuff. It's just understanding that we're each unique, but there are certain forces that are similar, but we are all unique. So, that was great. Anything else anybody like to share about that?
I have a question, actually. Our koshas can change, can't they?
Okay, this is a point. Koshas are, if you look at that, I think I just have the koshas on there. No, those are the clay.
I'm talking about our doshas.
Doshas. Okay, that is a point of I've been in many discussions with you. Yeah. But we're going to talk about koshas, we're going to talk about kleshas, we're going to talk about gunas. Oh my, we're going to do it all. So, and then some people feel that they can't, but I agree that just like we can change, just like because this is just different people share different thoughts with me. That you're when you're born, you have a combination of these 5 elements, but just as we interface with the world around us, that seems like it could change. Obviously, our brain can change. We know that now. And they used to think, well, your brain doesn't change. Well, now they do. So I'm thinking along the lines that you are, Jen. I do know, but just so you all know, and maybe some of you have different thoughts on that. I was originally taught that it can't. You're not that you're stuck. I'm also a Vata, not that I'm stuck being a Vata forever, but with practice and knowing that I'm like that, I can start becoming a calmer person and not needing to have 50 million projects going on at once. So, I think that we can, because everything.
The ultimate goal is to become like tri-dosha.
Yeah.
We want to bring about balance to all of that, and no matter what, we definitely have a tendency, just like we're born under a certain sun sign.
Yeah.
Our personality, there's so much influence in many other things, so we will have that dominant dosha, and can we change it? Yeah, that's the evolution of our practice, when we understand, where we're at in our dosha cycle versus where we're at, on a personal level and then season-wise, so we change our practice. It's like a color wheel. You have your primary colors, and then you kind of spin it around to get your secondary colors. And how does this all work together? And then you come up with your suite of practices, the breath work that works for you, the type of movement that you might need.
Yeah, that really, I like that metaphor of the color wheel, because that's exactly, what happens. So yeah. So thank you for that question, because I think I hear a lot of people asking it, and that's a really good answer. And just since we're talking about neuroplasticity today, if our brain can change, if we can change our brain, if we can change our body, if we can do all, why wouldn't that? It's all part of Prakriti. Prakriti being, if you look at this, in case you're not sure what Prakriti is, it's on the top thing is, well, I think it's probably better illustrated on this one. Prakriti is our physical self. It's our spiritual self having a physical life on this earth right now. So the question mark here, I did another drawing. This isn't my drawing. This one was from a book, but this being pure consciousness over here, where the question mark is. Purusha, and Bill, you jump in any time here, because I know you love to study this. Purusha is, we are the Atman. We are the unique, specific expression of that big, pure consciousness that's out there. And does that feel comfortable for people? And then, so when we're moving from pure consciousness to our body right here, right now, our body right here, right now is Prakriti, which is comprised of the 5 elements and is what's the word? Is mutable. It can be changed. Pure consciousness is immutable. And so that falls into what you're saying too, is, well, yeah, if everything else can be changed. And our practice is we have our unconscious mind, which is latent and active. By the way, I'd love to do a workshop on dreams, because I just think that this is my favorite area of the brain, is just that movement from subconscious dreams to the conscious mind. And then with the conscious mind, with the breath. So here we're moving to the pranayama aspect of the 8 limbs. And then we come into the body, and then the senses. So all of this is affecting what we actually come out with over here, perception, which is not in this drawing, unfortunately. But when I did it, I put a little perception over here on this side.
But it's always kind of like this handout.
Yeah.
The glaciers are involved.
Yes.
Stars involved. There's a lot involved.
Yes.
It goes back to what you're saying there. The shift can happen. Just depends on where the happen.
I wish I had my picture with me. I like that other one better, because it says what you're saying, and it has the exact Yoga Sutra that describes just what Bill was saying. But it's in our teacher training manual, and if you want it, I can send it to you. Okay, so.
The other thing is that, kind of boils down to the pure essence of where thought goes and
Yeah.
flows.
Yeah,
And so, the changing of the seasons or the changing of our own
yeah,
being,
Yeah.
where we put the thought is gonna take that energy, boost it or,
totally.
And I have to say, like, I think what you just said is spot on, because we can dive so deep, and that's why we're yoga nerds.
Yes.
Because it's so fascinating to really
Yeah,
unveil all of this,
yeah,
these thousands of years of knowledge, but in practical terms, it's just like, it's as easy as exactly what you just said.
yeah, exactly.
And if we can start there, then that gives us the opportunity, because yoga could be, there's so much invoked in this philosophy and science that it can become overwhelming and make us want to give up at
It
times, because we just want to open our brain and put every single text inside of it and zip it back up and
Yeah.
retain it. But
To get to the
master
essence.
it all.
right.
Yeah,
And so if we could start on that
yeah,
simple understanding, then everything flows open.
yeah. And that's what we're trying to do, is to keep that flow happening and to open it up and to unlock, stuff, which is the other picture of the glaciers. Those are considered the basic blocks that we all have. But, there's probably more. But that's just the idea that, we have things, we have filters, we have glaciers, we have samskaras, we have stuff that's.
That's what I love about the ancient texts. They made it simple.
The
Where
what's text.
The ancient texts.
Yeah,
They made it simple where, we pontificate on everything. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, let's make it more. So
Yeah.
Subdivide it. It's like, no, let's just push
It is
back and
good.
go back to simplistic.
it's good to, because we can totally nerd out, that's for sure. And then our physiology is just another place you can nerd out in. But basically, as far as how this is going to affect us physically, it's also right there. That's a whole thing about psychology, neurophysiology, is that where you put your thoughts, where you put your energy, that's what's going to be happening in your brain. And neuroplasticity is based on the fact that we're going to try to make ourselves, we're hardwired to go into that negative thing, that HPA loop, and oh my God, we're hardwired for that. But if we can understand that, yes, we can change our brain, we can take those synaptic pathways that we've been grooving. Somebody compared it to, I spent a lot of time at my grandparents' farm, so I just know as kids we would take the truck out and just groove across one field, and just in the muddy time, and so then we could go back the next year and we'd see the tracks that we had left there the year before. But you can make new tracks, and that's what we've done in our brain, is we've set that groove down. We're in a rut, sort of, and we can create new pathways, new ruts, new synaptic pathways, and that's what's really cool. So, yeah, and that's all I was going to talk about today. So I'll see you.
Middle weeks, Penn State.
Yeah, he just kind of distilled everything I wanted to say, I'm here to also talk about some of the other things if you want. We talked about the glaciers, so those are the filters. So if you look at between our pure consciousness and what we perceive, yeah, these are things that can keep us from really understanding ourselves. Real quickly, I'm just going to go over them, just because you guys, I'm sure all know them, but in case April for sure, because you're not able to look at this sheet, but it's that the first thing in the Yoga Sutras is usually the most important thing. It's like the first sentence in every little set of sutras meaning stand, like a thread or a sentence, like suture, So it's usually the most important. So the most common one or the overriding one, we'll say, is avidya. And avidya just means, if there's an A, that means not. So it means not vision. It means not having perception. It means being ignorant, so to speak, not being able to see. And then it goes on to Ashmita, egoism, and that's where we think we're separate. You know, it would be a nice way of saying it. It could be that we feel we're better, but it's that we feel that we're separate. Attraction is raga, some people pronounce it, and that is kind of accompanied with desire, and that lots of times can mean addiction. We just, as Ram Dass says, because he talks a lot about this, and Jen has a book out there by Ram Dass. Ram Dass says his book is, what is it? It's called The Heart, whatever, God, The Path to God, and it's really good. He said, I learned that I love to eat steaks, but I am not a steak eater. By steak, I mean beef. So there's a difference. Like, you can love something or enjoy it or whatever, but it's when it begins to, that's what you identify as. I am the person who eats meat. That is me. So that's one. It's not, yeah. And then the next one is the exact opposite. It's avoidance, and which can lead to hatred and racism and all that. And then the last one is really kind of, it almost encompasses all the others, because it is abhinavesa, it's fear of change, fear of death, fear that you can't control anything. And I think that's what we all fear, is like, we can't control things. We can only control ourselves. So, so the solution, I'll real quickly go over that, is when obstacles do not seem to be present, it's important to be especially vigilant. Advance towards a state of reflection to reduce their impact and prevent them from taking over. That's meditation. When we look at what pops up, when we look at our fear and we go, oh, well, I better look at that, instead of trying to hide behind it. Like, our actions and consequences are influenced by these obstacles. The consequences may or may not be evident at the time of the action. As long as obstacles prevail, and I would say as long as we're ignoring them, they will affect us in every aspect. And that's why the subconscious is so important to be observed, because what's up there, our subconscious is ruling or directing our actions, because we're not looking at it. If we know we eat too much meat, we can be like, well, maybe I'll cut back a little bit. But if we fail to look at that, then we are, we're doomed. We won't see it. And why I'm rewriting the manual and incorporating my stages of transformation, that was a purely Western science document. Nothing about yoga is in that book. But that's what those stages go through. And I didn't invent that. My research was only researching this person named Prochaska that came up with that stages of change. Because prior to that, it was just like, you're good or you're bad or whatever. But this is like, you're going to go through these stages. And so the first stage is pre-contemplation. You're not even thinking about it. You don't know that you eat too much steak. But then the move from that to contemplation is, we're like, oh yeah, I need to maybe cut back a little bit. And then the next stage is action. And so that's kind of where we're going in this workshop this weekend. And that's kind of where I want to go with my manual, so I can bring in that stuff. So I spent so much time researching, I thought I might as well use it for something. But anyway, so I think that's such an important point of these things, is we need to look at that. And when we do our meditation, which we'll be doing here in a bit, we're going to cover different kinds of meditation. We will we'll look at, well, I guess I'll just go there. Do you have any more questions about this right now? Go ahead.
I have a question, Dave. Are you still using something like this book? School?
Not.
It's the other citrus.
I do use it personally for myself.
Really good
Oh, okay.
segue for equations.
You were,
Which is basically what you just explained.
okay,
Just a little different.
okay. Is that,
It's,
aren't you reading Satyananda's, Swami Satyananda's Yoga Sutras?
the sutras, yeah.
Yeah, he's taking a course in that.
Yeah,
I just read it.
but he has to give you a little bit.
I throw it in my car and drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of my reading is audiobooks, so it's like,
Yeah.
okay, we've got a 40-minute commute, let's
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
It's a good place to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me see. Okay, we have some good stuff here. Okay. This is from Deepa. Yoga altered the default mode network of the brain, which potentially leads to mental well-being. Did you hear that? I was facing this way. I'll stay facing this way. Okay. Yoga alters the default mode of network of the brain. Yoga alters the default mode network of the brain, which potentially leads to mental well-being. Okay. So we have a default that we go to, whether it's due to our hardwiring, whether it's due to our dosha, whatever it's due to, we get in those default, okay, I'm just going to react like this. And that's a lot. Here she goes on. Research suggests that yoga increases the neurotransmitter GABA, G-A-B-A, which reduces anxiety. Okay. So thank you. It's so good to have.
And I'd like to add on that is like, it's what we were talking about yesterday, what is the centerpiece of yoga? I mean, because yoga is so broad, it's such a broad term, that it's the breath. And the breath is what accesses the nervous system, which accesses all of, our brain power and our thoughts and how we work. And so really the breath is the key of the practice, and how do we really get into that breath? And when we use the breath correctly, we get into that deeper state of meditation where the influence and the changes and the shifts really happen. And we use the asana, the poses, to access the breath.
Yeah. And that's so great, because it's so simple. And people, of course, all the time I have people, you go to the doctor for, your foot or something like that. And they say, well, you can't do any more yoga, or my shoulders. Well, no yoga for you. And it's like, yoga, what do you think yoga is?
Well, that's the thing, is that, the marketing in the world is
Yeah.
awesome.
And I think that is, as potential yoga teachers or healers or people in civilization of people, as our citizen of the world, I think that it's our dharma, because we're all here, to kind of unveil that a little bit. So, yeah. See anything else over here? Okay. It also improves the parasympathetic nervous system by reducing the activity of amygdala. Yeah, the brain threat centers. Exactly. Okay, let me see. Okay, that's from Deepa too. So keep talking, everybody. I'm glad you can hear us, because I just wasn't sure if you can hear these guys. I figured you could hear me, but let's see, just a second. Okay. Oh, Aubrey's on too. That's fine. You can just do it this way. I'll just look at my phone. Okay. Let me see. See if I have anything else here. Okay. So the gunas, should we just leave the gunas for now and the koshas? Is that okay? You want to get into meditation a little bit more? Okay, because that's great stuff too. But the only thing I'll real quickly say about the koshas is it's like we're a sheep. We're wearing a bunch of coats. They're like the Russian dolls that have a little one in the middle, and then they go out into these different layers. And those sheaths, they're called sheaths. Kosha means sheaths, because it's like a cloak, or it is also it covers up our true nature, but also can protect our true nature. So we feel a little safer than walking around the world wearing our heart on our sleeve. So when we think about the different layers of who we are comprised of, it's important as a teacher or as a person, again, as a person, part of the human race, that when we look at someone, we know there's a lot more going on than, I'm wearing a black shirt and I've got pants on and I'm 73 years old. So yeah, there's other things going on with me. And I think that's what's important about that. So,
Yeah, I look at the coaches as they're essential. It's a given, they're essential, they are present no matter what, and it's up to our being, our parasympathetic nervous system to allow us the free access through all of these coaches to reach Ananda, to get to that state. But do we live in a state of Ananda? No.
we have to feed ourselves, we have to.
So each one is an essential part of our creation.
Yeah,
But we just need to practice, and hence the dedication for us to access wherever we need that healing, wherever that something's stuck, or whenever we need to go deeper to,
Yeah.
And we have to use our spirit, our soul, which we're that Ananda.
Yeah.
Or samadhi.
Yeah.
So.
To smile at, that people, I love it when I walk in here. Somebody on their door says, what is it? Smile.
It's not like to make everyone smile.
Yeah, and it always is like, yes, that is such Eric Schiffman had a thing because that was my main teacher, and he would, at the end of class, he would say, okay, your homework is to, when you leave here, to look at people and look at them in the eye and smile at them and know that they're your brother or your sister. And it's just like, it's so powerful because we do get so annoyed and so in our little bubbles and all that. And just to, go ahead and show our soul, our spirit with that smile. It's really, and eye contact like we did yesterday. So, so that's where we're going. Any more questions about any of that kind of stuff? But I think we're following our energy flow here into, so now what can we do about it? And so we in the 8 limbs, I mentioned that we're at pranayama, and pranayama is kind of that, if you look at this thing, it's right here, it's the connection. It's a bridge between the conscious mind and our body. And so we did great pranayama yesterday, and we'll do more today. But the first step after that is pratyahara. And pratyahara is withdrawal from the senses. So we're moving beyond the bottom little graphic that I have down there is the idea of being ruled by our senses. And the body being ruled, and just it has a lot more to go. It's actually from the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, is this also like? Do you remember when you hosted? What was her name? Carrie Taffer or
Telford, yeah.
Yeah, and she went through that anonymous Sufi visualization with us.
Yeah.
Before yoga and after yoga with the carriage. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yeah,
I
but
love
I can't replicate it. And she is such a fabulous teacher. She went on to become a nurse now. She's
I follow her still.
Yeah, she's awesome. She was a student of Max Strom, who I just think is wonderful as well. So I can't replicate it, but we should look that up.
I think I remember it.
Do you want to do it?
I can right now.
Or later, or whichever, now or later, whichever.
Well, I can't later because I have a plan.
Okay. Well, do it now because if you can remember
Let me
it.
see if I can do this. So, this is written by like an unknown Sufi poet back in the day. And if you visualize, we think of yoga. Take a moment and like visualize a carriage. And your carriage can look like any carriage that you want it to. And then inside this carriage is you. And the carriage comes with a driver and horses. And well, before yoga, the carriage is broken. It is just in shambles and pieces. And the driver is drunk.
That's right. I remember
So
that.
there's no direction, he has no idea what to do or how to guide the horses, and the horses are running feral. They're just wild because they don't have any direction to go to. And the person inside the carriage is asleep.
Yeah.
So this is like before yoga.
Yeah.
And when we apply yoga into our lives, we can visualize the carriage, which represents our body, being fit and formed and put together, a place to transport us. And the driver, which represents the mind, is aware and awake to take us in the direction we need to go. And those horses are our senses to guide us into the direction we need to go. And the passenger that's asleep is awake and aware driving this whole thing. That represents our soul.
That's great.
Something like that.
I'm
right?
glad you did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we can, by the way, these recordings these are all recorded and you can access them on YouTube later. So, because if you want to go back and, yesterday, we got all that on there too. So, and it's just for people in the school. So I can give you a link to that. Yeah. So, awesome. Thank you so much. So to get there, to practice yoga, we want to do the ethics. We want to practice compassion towards ourselves and non-grasping and all those things that we've already talked about. Doing our work, but not being expectant that because we ate healthy all our life, we'll never get sick. It's not you do it because it's the practice of doing it. That's the practice. And so then we get up to now. Let's use our breath, because the breath is there the whole time, as Jen's saying, that we're going to move past everything. We're going to take a look at ourselves. This is kind of where that savadhyaya comes in, and we're going to detach from our senses. We're going to get here. Although sometimes you can use your senses to help you detach. But so pratyahara, that means taken off in a different direction. We're not going to be involved in. So for the first thing that's suggested in the Yoga Sutras is dharana, and dharana is focus, concentration on one thing. These are some of my favorite books I've had forever. And check out Han's book, How to Focus. It's so simple. He doesn't go into any fancy words. It's just basically, where is it? What I say? Well, for one thing, I was just looking at this one thing. He talks about be a sovereign of your territory. So our body is our territory, our mind and our emotions are our territory. When we're a sovereign of our territory, we're observing it, we're looking, we're not letting it run amok. But I wanted to see if I could find that there's one, here it is, presence. Okay. It's just so simple. Every 24-hour day is a tremendous gift to us. So we should all learn to live in a way that makes joy and happiness possible. We can do this. The way to maintain your presence in the here and now is through mindfulness of the breath. There's no need to manipulate the breath. Breath is a natural thing, like air, like light. We leave it as it is. We don't interfere with it, and we just focus on our breath. What we are doing is simply lighting up the lamp of awareness to illuminate our breathing. As you breathe in, you can say to yourself, I breathe in, I know I'm breathing in. And when I breathe out, I know I'm breathing out. Jen did a lot of that work yesterday. So focusing on one thing. It could be your breath, like I was just saying. I brought this chakra meditation book I love because it has all these, every chakra goes through kinds of concentration, focus meditation. So that's a first step. And then they're sometimes on a candle. We're not bringing candles in here, so I didn't bring a candle in here. I did bring a scent if you want, and I'll tell you about this in a minute. But we're just going to take some time to focus on one thing. It could also be on the sounds that you hear around you, or the temperature on your skin, or a word, a mantra. But it's kind of a gateway into going in deeper. Okay, it's kind of a portal. If you want, well, I brought this perfume. I'm really proud of it because when I was in France, we were at a French a perfumery where they grow all kinds of different things, and it was like we got to go in the lab and we got to invent our own thing, and I really liked mine. Nobody else liked theirs, but I was like, yeah, I really like this. And so, if you want, you could put this on your wrist. It has lavender and some other thing. It's really subtle. But let's just take a few minutes, and I won't even guide you. We'll just settle in. So the idea is just to feel yourself letting go of our conversation, and just tuning into something. And again, if anybody wants to try this, I'll bring it to you, so you don't have to get up. Yeah, you could just, yeah. So it's, yeah, chill, just spray. See? Thank you. Okay. Oh, did I? So, focusing on one thing. I will say that a really nice thing to do at home, again, I didn't want to go buy a bunch of oranges, but is to take a piece of, you know, a slice of an orange or something that has a lot of scent to it and feel to it, and to focus on that. And as you are here, whatever it is you're focusing on, notice when and if your mind drifts to something. And this is called a 1,000-petal lotus meditation. So you're here in the center with whatever it is anchoring your mind. And as you're here in the center of that lotus, that 1,000-petal lotus, just imagine that if your mind goes to something other than that focal point, that's just one of the petals on that 1,000-petal lotus. And the idea of this meditation is you'll probably do this 1,000 times if we sat here long enough. Coming back to your focus, maybe 1,000 times. The point is not to not focus. In fact, when you find you've wandered off, you might actually congratulate yourself. Oh, I noticed, I wandered off. I'm going to go back to the anchor again, go back to the focus. Now let's let go of that focus for a moment and come back to our breathing. It might have been on your breath might have been your focus, but we're just going to count backwards from 10 to 1 at your own pace. Just inhaling in, knowing you're inhaling in, exhaling out, know you're exhaling out. 10. If you haven't already, take your last deep inhale, knowing you're inhaling, write it all the way up to the center of your brain, and then exhale all the way out, emptying completely, squeezing out the last bit with your low belly. And then when you feel it's appropriate for you, go ahead and kind of open your eyes, looking down at the ground for a moment. There's 3 stages of any meditation technique. There's getting into it. It's kind of like going on a vacation. There's packing your bag. There's being on the vacation. There's being there. And then there's coming out, coming back home. So just slowly let yourself come back home and come back into this space. And just make any little movements that feel comfortable for you. If you want to take some notes, that might be something you want to do, or you might just want to sit and see what is happening next. So thank you. Anybody want to share anything or have any thoughts that they'd like to add here?
I noticed something that happened when I was dropping in, when I felt like I was really inside. The bondage started happening
Oh,
automatically, like you.
cool. Yeah.
I guess it's just from practice.
Yeah, probably from your practice. I bet so. And that's a good group to be in. That's a good, as she was saying, to find that some of these tools that we have in our life, our habits are actually, that's when the outside body, the outside layer can help protect what's going on inside. For example, eating well, drinking water, all these things that they're more for the outer sheath, but you realize that the habit of them is going to take care of you and help you. So
It was interesting.
yeah,
Just feel that.
yeah. When we did that practice with Jennifer yesterday, and we were breathing down and up, it was amazing how that changed. Just really basic, I'm not saying it was basic, but very a simple movement pattern that was just so, yeah. KISS, keep it simple. Yeah. So, anybody else? like to share anything?
I'm glad you mentioned wellness, because we really haven't spoken about that so far this weekend. And they're super important. They're like super powerful locks within our body, energy holds, in order, and we have to use them effectively in order to gain access to where we want to go to deepen our practice. Because we have what, we were talking about the Marvin points and all that a little bit yesterday, did the 61 point practice, but those bandhas are really important so we don't, what is Jessica Jarrett called, the energy leaks?
Bloops. Well, no, he calls them release valves.
Yeah, just release valves, and it's so, we have to be so mindful of
Yeah.
all of that. So again, another layer for us to go, like, oh my God.
But they do all go together. So by release valves, it's like if you think of a garden hose as being your Sushumna, your center axis, and then all I guess that'd be all the other riverlets that are coming from there. We, when we use our bandhas, we're keeping the integrity of that river, of that flow. But if we don't, for example, the center of the body is the easiest, the spine, the Sushumna. If we're doing it sitting like this, so you can see what's happening to the back of my neck and to my low back, So when we use the bandhas, then we're bringing more postural alignment, but postural alignment leads to emotional and mind, our mind, So, and what is our mind, by the way? Does anybody want to venture a statement about that? Because that's, I think, in one of my handouts, I have all kinds of handouts on meditation, but I was looking at this one and I was asking different people what the mind is. I mean, I use something from Ayurveda and something from Buddhism and something, and then I asked my husband what the mind was, and I had his in there. I can't remember what he said, but it's almost like, is it beyond just our brain and our body and all the systems and our senses? Is it like the grand wizard or no, or is it the result of it? I don't know. I just think that word's kind of one of those words you could sit around and.
Well, I think you kind of described it earlier when we were talking about like Purusha and Prakriti.
Yeah.
I think that is like a great way, because it is an embodiment within us, and we were talking about the heart intelligence and what we need to do. So just as a complete integration, it's our computer, like the motherboard.
Yeah, but it's more. Yeah.
You get us in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, it's not,
Use it alone.
What's that?
it's the observer.
Yeah, and it, the wisdom.
I wouldn't say it's the observer. I say it's the master doer. For me, my observance is like when I withdraw from the chatter and the senses. Like that's more of me getting to the Atman, is the observer.
There are a lot of witnessing meditations that are good though, to look at it, to look at, okay, now which is where we're going to go next. I believe we should do a meditation in which we actually follow some of our stuff. But that we're both, I'm not saying one's right with the other.
There's no right or wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So we went to, I want to just read this to you. So concentration, our dharana, it is like starting to strengthen your attention muscle. We're starting to be like, it's not easy to focus. I mean, we all know that. So the ability to hold focus long enough to stop the reactivity loop is what we were doing with that. And it's kind of considered a first step. So can you think of some other forms of concentration? Looking at a candle.
Yeah, I was going to say using a focus like a candle or a crystal.
Yeah, a
Something.
mantra.
Yeah.
A mantra. This
Single
book
focus.
is great because it has a yantra, which is a drawing for every one of the chakras, and it's what this happens to be the one for this one. So it's just putting your focus on one of those something.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I have wind chimes outside,
Yeah.
so to visually see the focal, being able to to listen.
Yeah, the listening presence,
And that can help the focus.
because that's what we're trying to do, basically, with yoga is listening. I mean, it's listening to more than the wind chimes, more to whatever other song there is, but
It really is a vibration, so like every chakra, you know, there is a visual image of it, but there's also a seed sound
yeah,
attached to every chakra point, and that's where we ultimately want to go with it, is where April's talking about, because that's what mantra is, you know, it is the most potent tool that we have to really access the depths of embodiment of this practice of yoga, is because everything's energy, and these energies, these mantras came about, was brought about language and
Yeah.
sound. So they were first given as a universal sound that we were able to give intelligence and language to.
so exactly. And it's more than what this book says, but I wanted to give an example. The chakra, I just went with the root chakra, Muladhara chakra. The element is, of course, the earth. The sense is smell. That's one of the first senses a baby, you know, you come out of the womb, that's your first sense that develops, is your smell. And it is related to the earth chakra. And the sound vibration is Lam. It's spelled L-A-M, but it's like alam. It's more of a soft, long, long, vom, ram, hum, yum,
I
and
forget
that one's fun.
But I know
Yeah.
sacral is yum,
yeah, I know
heart
that.
is hum,
Yeah, ram is,
It's young.
yum, okay, so yum, and then.
but yes, you know, it's cool. And if you don't remember the exact name, it's even more. If you listen to music that's a chakra vibration, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Jai Tall it's called the bija,
Mhm.
bija seed sounds.
Yes,
So
Yes.
it's really cool, I play it in my classes. Sometimes.
Yeah. We should stand up and then we'll do well, I just wanted to, let me finish this other thought real quick. But there's other kinds of concentrations. Some would argue that the loving kindness metta could be a one. I also tend to think it can head more into insight, and that it can help you, it can help develop your compassion more. So it is a little bit more directive than just concentrating on one thing, in that than watching to see what comes up, but it sometimes is put in both categories. So yeah, so we can take a moment to stretch and move around a little bit. I'm gonna look for something I wanted to share with you guys. Yeah. So since we're just standing up, I'm gonna just shake around a little bit, or do anything you want to do. I wanted to read this. A listening presence, concentration to insight meditation. It is useful in understanding the variety of spiritual practices to distinguish between concentration and insight. Basically, concentration meditations are those which develop one-pointedness and tranquility, because they are helping us to move away from the other stuff. So for one moment, it's almost like hypnosis or something. Insight meditation does not fix the mind on one object. Instead, it develops the quality of concentration on changing objects as a tool for probing the nature of mind-body process. Insight meditation is practiced by developing bare attention, as seeing without reacting to the whole process of our world of experience, to consciousness and to all objects of consciousness. Rather than fix the meditation on one object, the ongoing stream of the changing mind-body continuum becomes the meditation's object. Okay, so the change in you're letting yourself wander, and it's from there that you move into dhyana. Because then you're starting, and this is the basis of what I haven't talked about too much yet, but emotional intelligence. I think we all have that in our mind anyway with the neuroplasticity, is that what we're trying to do with these books that are being written by all these people like Rick Hansen, I have a book list for you. It's really basically to use these concepts to help us create a longer pause. So instead of reacting all the time, like I was using the example yesterday, my husband coming in and scaring us. We would be like, that's Debbie's husband just being silly type of thing. So we can move away from just constantly being like, and it's hard because we have a lot stored up in that latent brain, that subconscious brain that is triggered by the senses. Smell does a lot for people. That's why when we were doing our making perfume, his whole thing was just go up and smell the different things and let your deeper part of your brain choose. Don't be like, oh, this smells like a forest, so I'm going to say I like this. Or this smells like lavender, I'm going to say I like it. But go up there and just smell and then just write down what did I feel when I had that smell. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, it was really, really fun. Did you guys like the perfume I gave you? Yeah. I don't know exactly what it was. I guess I wrote it on the carton, but yeah. Let me see if anybody here is saying anything. Okay. This is from Deepa. I'm trying to concentrate by closing my eyes within the position of the third eye by changing Om repeatedly. Inhale, exhale, Om. It is very useful to activate the amygdala. Oh no, I'm sorry, the chakra. I'm not seeing very well. Gyan chakra, okay. Thank you. All right, so can movement be meditation? Yeah, can sewing be meditation? Probably. There's another thing that we're not going to have time to talk about, but that's the idea of flow as meditation, not just flow like flowing in a yoga class, vinyasa class. That, of course, can be meditation like we experienced with Jennifer yesterday, but some people, it's music, painting. I dare to say that, what's that? Yeah, coloring. Oh, writing. Yes, for me, I do writing every morning, the morning papers. Yeah, but Vincent van Gogh, when he was in his, I told most of you guys I got to visit where he was for a year, and he committed himself into an asylum because he just couldn't take the outside world, and he knew he needed help. So he actually went into this asylum and painted all the paintings that you know of that are so famous, 150 paintings in 1 year. So I'd say that that's probably what he was doing for that year, just painting and painting.
Was that his blue period?
It's a year. It was the year before he died. It was a year after he cut off his ear and then committed himself into the asylum. He was there for a year, painted and everything, and then got out. And his brother was an art dealer, and they were working together. And they found him in the field outside of the asylum, and there was a gun there. So nobody knows for sure if he shot himself, but because there's stuff that it looked like he came from a weird angle, like somebody else might have. But anyway, I don't know if it's a blue period or what it was, but there was a lot. There was a lot of colors in there. So we got to visit the different places where they did our guide took us like, okay, here's where the Starry Night was, and you could see it. You could see the church steeple there, and this is where the trees that are glowing, the sky is on like this. That's what happens in that part. It's very windy there. So anyway. All right, so just moving around a little bit, just going ahead and letting yourself get ready. I am going to do, I was trying to decide which one to do. I think I'm gonna go back to the 1,000-petal lotus, if you guys don't mind. Did anybody use that for your thing? Okay, because it's pretty cool, and I think I got it from one of these books, but I'm just gonna do it from my memory. So this is different in that when you go to the different petals, when your mind wanders, so you're gonna be, you can still use a concentration special to start out with, but kind of let your mind be a big landscape, and maybe looking at the whole of the flower, the whole of the lotus, and let your mind go and notice what it's going towards. Notice if it's a fear, or if maybe it's food, maybe it's just notice where your mind goes, and then to help kind of corral you in, you can go back to the center, the diamond of the lotus, the center piece, which will be the diamond for you. Okay, so another one that I use a lot is just watching clouds, like sitting in a field, and maybe you start out like this. You watch someone painting a fence, up and down, then you start kind of working your breath with it. So I tend to do the down as your inhale and up as your exhale. And then as you train yourself to do that for a while, then you go ahead and look up at the sky and notice what's up there. So you're sitting in a field, painting this fence, watching it up and down, and then let your mind go and notice the sky and the different thoughts that come to your mind, the different feelings, the different sensations. Notice those, and those are, you can think of them as clouds. You watch them come, you watch them go. Okay, so we can go ahead and sit back down now if you want to do that one. And I'm doing these just for, about 5-7 minutes. Or laying down would be really great. The other thing is, remember, it's called rain. Okay, so yeah, we'll be recognizing, we'll be accepting, we will investigate, and N has two different things. One is non-attachment. So it might be that you don't attach and you let it go. So, but it could also be a sense of nurturing yourself, nurture yourself from that. So rain is a concept that Tara Brach came up with, and she's amazing if you ever get the opportunity to listen to one of her meditations. We're also working with compassion. Okay, so we're always working with compassion. We're going to move ourselves gently into this practice. And the prep state and the coming out state are just as important as the being in state. So allowing yourself to take your time getting into your meditation. Beginning with some form of focus to help you settle in. It could be the sounds you hear around you. And then when you're ready to watch, to witness, with curiosity. So compassion and curiosity. When you're ready, take a few more cycles of breath. I'm just going to finish up with the loving kindness to use it as a closing for us before we move back up to seated or open up our eyes. So bringing to mind the loving kindness to someone in your life that you love, that you want to express it towards. May you be at peace. May you be happy and free from suffering. May you have a life of joy and ease. And you may have a different wording for your loving kindness metta. And repeat that. May you be at peace. May you be free. May you live with a life of joy and ease. And then take that same or another version of it to somebody in your life that you know is suffering. Or it could be an archetype. We know of many conditions that are happening in the world where people are suffering. Feel yourself sending out loving kindness metta, loving kindness energy to that person or those people. And then next, send that out if you dare to someone in your life who is difficult. You might even go so far as to say, I forgive. And then finally, send it out to yourself. If it's difficult to send it out to yourself at this present moment, you might think of yourself as when you were a child, or maybe in the future. Sending out the loving kindness metta. Acknowledge the feelings within. Loving kindness to yourself. You could even forgive yourself. And then we'll come back to listening to our breath, listening to the sounds in the room. And then bring your palms together to rub our hands. You might bring them to your heart or to your face in loving kindness. And then let's bring our palms back together and Om together 3 times. Taking a deep inhale. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. So, yeah, again, coming out of it is always important to give yourself time, you know. And I hope that RAIN made sense, the acronym. There's also another one I really like, it's COAL, which is COAL, and it's just compassion, observing, accepting, and letting go. Or again, like the last letter, it could be letting go, or it could be loving yourself. So, yeah, so that's some things to think about. I know you probably didn't, but we didn't spend a lot of time on pure neuroplasticity, but that's really what this is all about. It's about trying to start getting our brain to focus on positive things And in yoga, there's considered 4 antidotes, 4 fortifications in the first book of yoga. And those 4 fortifications, the first one is, and these are things to help fortify you, to help take you through your day, to help with your meditation, whatever. And the one is reciting Om. The other one is Maitri, which means friendliness. There's Karuna, which means compassion. There's Upekshanam, which means equanimity. There's actually 5 if you count Om. But my favorite that has the most to do with neuroplasticity is what we did with our loving kindness. And that is it's called mudita, and it means to focus on the good. And we tend to focus on the bad as it's in our DNA. That's why I got this book, Neurodharma, and I have another one called The Dharma in the DNA. It's in our DNA. It's what's kept us alive as a species because we did look over our shoulder. We were in this wandering through life. So it is important to look at your fears and to acknowledge them, but to begin to try to shift so that you're not always moving back there. And meditation and all the other limbs of yoga are very great ways to study it. Some of us like to study. Some of us are studiers. I'm just pointing at Bill because I think he likes to study. But some of us are karma yogis. We like to be of service in the world. There's many, many different forms, but anyway. Yeah, it's all good, as they say. So, and here's a few of my favorite books. And this, as far as neuroplasticity, Rick Hansen has done a ton of work on that, and also this guy. So this is beginner, and these are by Rick Hansen. I'm trying to do the other one. I have it on my list. So anyway, yeah. So do your little take a break for a minute or two. We're going to let Jennifer get right on here, and we'll move on.
How about we take like I'm just having a break, if that's okay, so we could transition, and then everyone could get like all their thoughts together, and like people at home get pillows and blankets,
Okay.
because we're gonna do a restorative practice this afternoon as well, so get everything and anything to make yourself comfortable. At least 2 blocks, a blanket, and a bolster, for sure.
So I'm not positive if everybody heard that, so I'm going to
At home pillows,
home pillows. We're going to do a restorative practice, so you're going to want to get things that you know that you'd like for that, and drink water maybe, go to the bathroom, and we will start up. We're going to make our transition here. So, and hi Liz, and I might have a yeah. I'd love for you to share sometime more about what you do. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that's the right continue for reading later. Were there any handouts?
Yes, here's this one. You had that one from yesterday.
Yeah, I have.
And I think. Oh, here, one more. This one's kind of fun. Can I have this one so you can use it? Yeah.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, it's really great because there's like different people, so yeah, it's hard to make it all the time. So
Do you send out the link to a recording, or should I email you to remind you?
email me
Okay.
because I sent it out to people already that I knew couldn't be here, that wouldn't come. So they have it, and I will. But yeah, that was just to remind me.
Okay, yeah, I'll send you an email. I was here for a few minutes during your meditation time, so I just
Oh, okay, great.
listened to it. That was nice. What was the theme of the
This
first?
is neuroplasticity.
Oh, great.
So, and, so we should talk about that stuff that you'll see in there. So I kind of went into, instead of the science of neuroplasticity, basically. We got a little bit off, I might as well share it with this guy too. We got a little bit not off, but we started talking about Ayurveda. And we were talking about, is that immutable, or if how, what our dosha is that what we're going to carry with us for the rest of our life? And we started talking about neuroplasticity and that regarding that. No, but just like our brains and every cell in our body, we can have an impact on them with our actions. So that led into the fact that we talked a lot about it yesterday, about the fact that, you know, there's things we can do to not always be moving. We can use the vagus nerve to move into a state of being that is more conducive to being happy.
The way we want to be.
Yeah,
Living in the world.
exactly.
Yeah.
Taking charge, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know, I mean, I've heard of Ayurveda or Ayurvedic medicine, but I don't really know anything about it. So that'll be a new kind of brand for me.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's that we have, it comes from the ancient wisdom, yoga, and that we have, each of us are comprised of one of five elements. We're all comprised of five elements of earth, but some are more vata, that's the air sign, some are more earthy, that would be the kapha sign, and dosha, and some of us are more fire, that would be fire elements are water, fire, air, fire. So anyway, that's the philosophy of yoga and the Ayurvedic system.
Okay, so that's like a part of the.
It is, it's part of what, it is, and it's just how we can help ourselves, really, all this is how we can help ourselves live happy lives. So it's just another component of all that.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's, keep going. Yeah, go ahead. Sure. You're, one more down, so you go. Two more down. One more down. That's not that one, next one. Although this book is so good, look at this way. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, it's really, really good. Okay, and, I had a bookstore in my studio up in the call, and so when I sold it, I have an extra copy of it, if anybody wants to buy it, I'll get a price or whatever, and pay for it. So, but I do have a lot of books. in my house. I do have an extra piece of paper up here if anybody, yesterday we were kind of short on paper, so if anybody wants. Just one sheet of paper. Everybody wants to journal.
just. No, I'm okay. I think I have that here, so. We just need 2 blocks of problem stuff on. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm going to scoot closer so I can be more engaged online as well. All right. You just probably need 1 more minute to get my notes pulled together. Yesterday. Today. Okay. Hi, are we ready? Are we ready? I like where today's discussion has gone today, especially with respect to the alignment of meditation to the other more higher levels of being. Meditation is the gateway to samadhi or ananda, just like breath is the gateway to accessing all of these layers within our body, right? So what's important for me, like yesterday, we really kind of hashed out and went over, what are those blockages, kind of those samskaras and things like that. That was really kind of what we talked about yesterday. And the vision that Debbie shared with me for this workshop weekend and today's session is about happiness and peace. How do we find that ultimate goal of happiness and peace and living our life? So I kind of broke up my portion of the practice today because for the next 2 hours, for me, it's about bringing about the application of everything that we've discussed with Debbie. So how can we apply that? Because we are most all here as teachers. We're here to be stewards of the practice and to disseminate the information. And I am a strict believer of kind of what we were talking about yesterday, that svadhyaya or that self-study, how imperative that is, but how important it is for us to experience, because we can't teach what we don't experience. And so some of the practices that I'm going to bring to you today, I'm following on Debbie's coattails, is the meditation. So yesterday we did some movement and things like that, but I want to offer 2 specific meditation practices today that I think are accessible and will help us and be applicable for experience from each of us. So it's going to be beyond discussion. And with that said, in order for it to be applicable, as you learned yesterday, I'm a huge component of journaling, because if
if we want to do the shadow work, and that was everything we kind of talked about yesterday with the samskaras and the cliches and different things like that, is in order for us to even contemplate happiness and peace and how to live our life, we have to unravel fear, and we do that through our shadow work. We have to be able to allow our shadow, just like when the sun hits us, our shadow is constantly a part of us. So once we find that acceptance and that honoring, then our shadow becomes our nurturer, our ally. And that is what we're here to do. And if the body, like if we're mind mapping and body mapping, if the body holds, our pain and our trauma and stuff within us, then we're now listening to our body kind of from the biomechanics and neuroscience perspective. We're listening to our body. Where are we holding our pain? Where are we holding our trauma? And the more we become sensitive to that as individuals, as we practice, then the more aware we become of our students' and clients' needs. So one of the things I just have to offer it up. One of the things that I see teachers do often, yoga teachers, and I want this to be, I don't know what the right word is. I don't want to use a negative word like a warning, maybe a tip. Once we become teachers, we seem to forget about our own practice. And we think that as a teacher, we're actually practicing, but you're not the practitioner when you teach. So that's why these workshops right here, when you're going through it, are so super critical to make sure that you have your daily practice. Because if we want to befriend our shadows or our childhood or our future, what is the one thing that we had said yesterday and that we need? Consistency. Our practice needs to become habitual. If we had ourselves, again, I'll ask that same question as yesterday, on a scale of 1 to 4, where do you want to see yourself in growth with your practice? And there's no right or wrong, but use that as your barometer or litmus test as far as like knowing where you're at, and let that also give you the confidence to teach what you want and where you need to teach, and also maybe use that as a tool of encouragement for you to continue to grow your personal practice. And our personal practice doesn't necessarily look like, oh, I have to do an hour vinyasa or an hour flow on my yoga mat. You know your breath work now. By the time you leave this program, you're going to have enough breathing techniques, enough little 10-minute body techniques, and enough desire to access your powerhouses for that meditation. Like your 10-minute meditation, whether you're out walking, we just talked about there are so many other different ways to do that. So whatever that is, offer yourself at least 5-10 minutes every day. Please.
I just want to add something to what you're saying, that it can be a myriad of different things. It is taking time for yourself and self-study. But yeah, there's many techniques, and journaling can be so great. And I forgot to say that the handout that I gave you has some journaling ideas that you can take with you. So I wanted to pass that.
Well, guess what? I think that's a perfect segue, because I have some journaling questions and prompts for you to write out. And I did not put these in a handout. I could, but one of the things that one of my teachers, he always makes us write them out. He gives it to us orally and makes us write it out, because it's an embodiment.
Yes.
It's part of the practice. So if we're just handed stuff, we're just probably going to slight it by paper, but I do have it available electronically. Okay, so our introduction journaling questions. Just so you know, I have a hard time coming over here and seeing this.
It's pretty hard.
Okay, but I want to be mindful, so I'm mindful of our online community as well. Okay, and they're a little bit longer than yesterday, but this at the beginning is looking for us to release fear when working with our shadow work. So basically, the questions, the overall theme are, what are my blockages? What are my blockages? And underneath that, there's 5 different points that we need to answer to help with that. Number 1, what lesson are you tired of learning? What lesson are you tired of learning? Number 2, what are the outcomes of this belief? What are the outcomes of this belief? Number 3, what belief, sentiment, intention could change that? The third part of that, what belief, sentiment, intention could change that? And number 4, what would the result of embodiment be? Number 4, what would the result of embodiment be? And maybe this 5th and last question is just one of results or contemplation, but what are the outcomes? What do you want to see happen? What are the outcomes? So you can see that there's a progression here in this series of questions. We have to be upfront and raw and honest with ourselves. Practice satya truth, yeah? And our practices, our meditations, will give it time, because meditation isn't about the absence of thought. It's about the quality of the outcome. It's about what arises. So we can see ourselves going through these blockages and what lessons we're tired of learning. Help us identify where these blockages are and what has been the outcome of this belief. The acknowledgement of our samskaras, right? And then what belief or sentiment or intention could change that? And then what would the result of embodiment be when you embodied the change, when you embodied the shadow, the samskara, you embodied the change, and then what does that look like for you? How empowering would that be? Or how much time does it have to take? Or maybe it's just a neutralization and acceptance. So you will know, depending on what arises for you today and throughout your life. And then what are the outcomes? Because if we're manifestors, and if our samskaras and our beliefs and our thoughts bring us to our future, then what are our outcomes? What are your outcomes? Let's see if I did everything okay. I will write these down. Okay, you got it. Debbie, I'll make sure to give you this handout. I'll email it to you electronically. All right, so there is something I want to share. When I was kind of looking at my stuff today, and then I was drinking my coffee, and I went out on Facebook, and the first thing that popped up, I have to share it with you guys, because it is, I don't follow it or anything. It's one of those stupid things. Oh, you might want to follow this person or whatever. And so I just have to read it to you guys. I snapped pictures of it because it's the perfect segue, or it's just perfect. Let me see if I can pull it up. So it's from the Heart Math Institute. about sending love to trees. Can love travel across distance and touch the interconnected web of life around us? We decided to find out. In September, approximately 380 people from around the world joined together on Zoom to participate in our Tree Response to Love, a non-local experiment. For 4 days, participants from around the world sent love and appreciation to one special sugar gum maple tree. Each day, participants were guided in a 10-minute heart-focused meditation while watching a live video of the tree. The results were remarkable. The loved tree showed a stronger circadian rhythm, a key sign of vitality and health, after just 1 day of receiving collective love. The other nearby trees serving as controls didn't show the same change. This experiment is part of our ongoing Tree Rhythms research project, exploring the subtle ways in which nature and human consciousness may be interconnected. I just thought that was so freaking cool.
It's really freaking cool and it's so funny because I've got something on Instagram that's from Miriam anyway. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. She used to live in.
She sketch them.
Yeah, and I'll send it to you all because I'm not going to take time to find it here, but it goes along with that. And she's just talking about the energy of her foot on the ground when she's going through a walking. So it just, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, there's a really good book called Earthing, and it's just about that. And it's written by 2 scientists, and one's a doctor, and the other is, I forget what he is, but no, it's about the science behind this concept of earthing, or what we call on our yoga mats grounding. It's really stinking cool. But all of this is like, this is how powerful of a person each of you are. We have this innate ability and power inside of us, and we can tap it out through meditation. We can tap into it. And I always think of Rumi's, go out there and be on this, be on the streets and be the disgrace and drink all the wine, because if all of us were that disgrace, do you know how awesome this world would be? So we have to be that one person that does this. And then when we're that one person, our practice as a yoga teacher is going to influence just one other person, maybe 2. We have to live by example. And that's what I really hope. And yeah, we can do it. All right. So the journaling practice, we got all of those questions and all of that kind of stuff down. Yeah. All right. So because what I have scheduled today are 2 potent or powerful meditations that I really want to bring you through, because they're for the both of you, but we have to set up the environment. I learned, and this is part of like the 10 or 15 minutes, well, I'm up to giving myself about 45 minutes a day. I'm not going to lie. I've become selfish with my time when it comes to my personal practice. So I'm going to once again guide you through some of the stuff that I do, and specifically today, and some of it's going to be repetitive. It's going to be the same thing that we did yesterday. We're going to prepare our container, prepare the body. And with this little sequence that I gave us yesterday and that we'll repeat again is beautiful for getting into the joints, the lymphatic system, and then preparing us for the breath work that will set the stage for a potent meditation experience. All right, so let's start. Let's come to standing, and let's give ourselves our little practice that we did yesterday, our little 10-minute, I should call it a Kriya.
Yeah.
All right, start off by taking your stance a little bit wider, maybe to the outer edges of the mat. And just begin to lift one heel and the next, and swing the arms and the gaze and everything just side to side. What is happening on the inside, and maybe you'll begin to witness it, but as soon as our body begins to move, the breath begins to shift to match the movement of our body. So we ask ourselves, do we want our body to move our breath, or do we want our breath to move our body? Well, it's a trick question. It's C, all of the above. But we will get to that point where the breath will guide the body. So now that we're kind of gotten this side-to-side rhythm action, getting some movement in our bodies, let's come to that concentration. So begin to fix your gaze directly ahead of you, find a non-moving object or something to focus on in front of you, eye height or below. And then it may bring in the more subtle sounds of your breath to key into. The eyes and the jaw become softer. We're beginning to release tension. Just by this one thing called a drishti. So let's slowly keep our focus, but begin to slow down your movement. And then once you slow down your movement, stack the feet more underneath the hips. And let's earth or ground. Feel your feet against the ground and just feel the energy already moving through the body. From the palms of the hands, through the beat of the heart, through the movement of your breath. And then we'll bring our arms up here and then just begin to lift one knee and then the other towards your arms. And your height begins to change. And what we're doing here is really waking up some of the lymphatic system within the hips here. Notice how the breath is, once again, adapting to your movement, synchronizing with your movement. And notice the opportunity to continue effortlessly with your fixed gaze. Let's just take a few more rounds of really this lift and getting deeper here. And then we'll come back to grounding. And now we're going to establish the connection of mind and breath, and now we're going to begin to control our breath. So coming on down where it's comfortable, maybe take your feet a little bit wider as necessary, just to support your stance. So placing your hands on your knees if that's comfortable, that huddling, football team huddle. And begin to focus on your breath. Maybe the breath is unmoving and is just the way it is right now. Take a few moments, few breaths, just witnessing your current state of breath. And then when it makes sense, begin to drop the breath deeper into the abdomen. And then as you find the breath deeper into the belly and the abdomen, we're going to now find a 3-part abdominal breath here. So exhale everything out of the mouth, feel the navel draw towards the back body. And then initiate the start of your first inhale, first third in the very low belly, second third through the mid belly, final third through the up belly. And as you exhale, exhale third from the upper belly, third from the middle, third from the lower. In breath, third from the very low belly, mid, and recognizing there's a lot more movement in the mid belly, but see if you could subtly access that, just that space above the pubic bone. You'll find it. And then roll the breath back down. And then from here, let's draw down to our hands and knees. Placing a blanket under your knees or folding the mat over it as you desire. If you have too much compaction on the wrists, feel free to bring your bolster and your arms maybe to a bolster if that feels better on your forearms and wrists. Pause here. Feel the shoulders move down. Feel your fingers spread comfortably wide. Find the ergonomics of your tabletop posture. Take a moment and notice the shift in the breath. It may become more smooth and rounded versus jagged. And then we'll start the circling. On your next in breath, draw your right knee towards your right shoulder and circle it back and around. And we're going to create about 6 to 8 circles. You can use a speed that serves you. And when you finish your 6 to 8, pause. Then we move to the second side. So take the left, draw it in towards the shoulder, and circle out and around. That's 6 to 8 rounds. And then we'll pause. Then we go back to the first side in the opposite direction. So starting with the right knee away from you, circle in towards the shoulder. And then pause and transition before switching to the next side. Feel the subtleties in the body and then switch to the next side, starting with your knee away from you and drawing in. And then once you finish, I want to add just a flowy cat here because we're going into more of a restorative posture today, and we want just a bit more spinal movement. So let's take a nice cat and cow. So starting off with an exhale around the upper shoulders, take your gaze. And then in breath. And as you exhale, maybe start at the tailbone and see if you can feel each vertebra move independently. I think it kind of is cool when it kind of goes to our conversation of all of this coming together as a whole, the spine as a whole, but each independent vertebra has its own unique function. It's like our body, our minds, and our breath. But there really is no difference. They're a part of the whole, right? And then we finalize and in Anahata Asana, walk your hands out, one healthy handprint. Your hips are stacked, somewhat over the knees, and we lower our forehead and our heart to the mat. Let's get that nice, gentle, subtle stretch along the back body. And then slowly making your way back up. Please come to seated. And I always encourage sitting up on a prop because it helps us limit like any repetitive damage that yoga can have, like the strain in the lower back, if we have tight hips. I mean, who knows what each other's bone structures look like. So if we sit up, we can notice the ease. So find your fixed gaze. Does everybody have an Ujjayi breath practice? Or should we go through it? I'll go through it. Because we're in teacher training. This is how we teach our students. So the Ujjayi breath is a technique that we can teach and use throughout an entire physical practice. This in the diaphragmatic breath. And the reason why the Ujjayi breath is also a beautiful breath to look at is because it brings about consistency on both the top of the inhale to the bottom of the exhale. And our goal is to reach this, what is called like samavriti, which is balanced breathing. That's where we want to go. And that's where we can really consider a regulated nervous system. And so the Ujjayi breath, and one of the benefits of it that I love, especially as we're transitioning through seasons, this is like a tridoshic breath that you can use for any part of the season. And it balances out the temperature in our body. So it helps regulate our internal functions as well. So this is how I like to teach it. Finding your breath, just begin to feel the breath enter and leave through the nose. And we've dropped our breath down in the belly, so maybe consider the little bit longer and deeper diaphragmatic type breaths. And then as you exhale, the next exhale out of the mouth like you're fogging up a mirror. And you could almost draw a heart and BFFs on your finger or on the mirror, like BFFs forever. So begin to, and you can notice how it slows the breath down. Inhale normally, just focus on the exhale, the warmth of the breath. And now notice where you feel it at the base of the throat. You can almost feel that tightening or that little bit of closing at the base of the throat. Now see if you can maintain that feeling, but exhaling through the nose instead of the mouth. Same as and then the sound you make, that oceanic sound that they talk about that accompanies it, it becomes more subtle and deeper within you. It becomes your unique vibration. Now see if you can do this same thing, holding the closure or the control of the throat with the inhale, not just the exhale. Soften the jaw, soften the shoulders, elongate the spine. This is our Ujjayi breath. So take this moment. We'll engage in our props here in a minute, but I invite you to draw it onto your back body, please. Let's come down to our backs here. The Ujjayi breath is helping us prepare the body and the mind for these powerful meditations. And so what we're doing here is just a complete prep work. So when you're on your back, I invite you to bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet to the earth, hip width apart, whatever feels comfortable, no holster. And then notice if your shoulders are cranked up by your ears. If so, can you walk your hands down towards your heels a little bit more? Create space in the neck and the throat. Allow your hands and palms to be free. Maybe the palms are beginning to rotate up a little bit, which broadens the chest, opens our heart a little bit more. We're using this next one. I'm deliberately putting this bridge in here because I want to gently open the heart with our Ujjayi breath. So employ your Ujjayi breath here. And take one more nice Ujjayi inhale. And then exhale through the mouth. And feel the navel really drop to the back body. Long exhalation. And then another Ujjayi inhale. And this time lift the hips and the arms up overhead into a bridge. And allow the movement to be as slow as your breath is long. And then as you exhale, lower the arms back down by your side as you lower one vertebra at a time. Ujjayi exhale. And then in-breath, Ujjayi inhale. So it's similar to what we did yesterday. We used a counting, right? But we're using today this Samavriti, which is this more consistent inhale to exhale ratio through the power of our Ujjayi breath, regulating our nervous system and the temperature within our body, and giving us a tone to concentrate on. Yeah, so if it feels comfortable, use your arms to come up overhead with you and down. And let's take just a couple more rounds and notice what arises. What's arising mentally? What's arising physically? And you'll know when you need to stop physically, potentially. Or if you need to take yourself through another breath or threshold. Pressing into the feet, feeling the earth supporting you through the feet, the shoulders. And then when you're ready to pause, come down, and before you try to counter, just pause in stillness and feel the effects. And then we're going to use our restorative practice as a way to counter the heart opener we just did. So from here, let's roll over to a side and begin to find your props. Have your blanket, your bolster, and your blocks accessible. The first one we're going to do, so there's an option to take the block and place it on your bolster, or the option is to not use it. But we're going to start off with the right hip. So we're going to sit sideways on our mat, and we're going to take the long edge of the bolster and just draw it and place it up onto our right hip. So whether it's a pillow, the bolster, and so all of our legs, everything, our bent knees, all looking out to the right side. Bolster is leaning on the back of the mat. And then I like to take my hands down and come to my fingertips here so I could press in, which helps give me a lift in the spine as I begin to pivot my torso towards the bolster. And here I'm going to lay down. So I can either hug the pillow, or we have the block underneath us to bring the pillow up or the bolster up to us, or you can use your blanket as a pillow, however it may feel to you. How does it feel? Okay. And then bring yourself into your knees. Yes.
take this and place it between your knees. And do this.
And as we enter this pose, invoke the sensations of stillness, of peace. Yesterday we did a yin practice which invoked our awareness. Today, through a restorative practice, I'm asking you to surrender. Let go. Take your nap in this posture. Recognize what arises, what doesn't, or maybe we go numb. That's also something that arises. Internal healing through deep rest. And I invite you to begin to slightly deepen the breath. And as we deepen the breath, to invite transition. And through transition, even though transition can feel like they're mountains bigger because we're going from restorative to another posture, what can you do to minimize the amount of movement so you can maintain this internal state that you are creating, the state of being? So just slightly begin to deepen the breath, and so you can press up. The eyes can remain closed or a soft gaze. If you used a block, set it aside off of the yoga mat. Then we're going to take the bolster that's elongated, and we're going to switch the direction of the bolster 90 degrees. And then once you switch the direction of the bolster from our right side, we're going to take our pelvis and we're going to lay our pelvis onto the bolster. And then here again, you can find a blanket to cuddle up or rest on. And once you find your comfortable spot on your belly, as you enter into the stillness of this posture, maybe use your Ujjayi breath again as a gateway to receiving into stillness. And then soften the low back, the glutes, the shoulders, the jaws. And in stillness, notice what's arising. And maybe you use the analogy that Debbie used. Notice the blue sky in the mind's eye. And each thought is a cloud. And allow the breath to just allow it to move through your vision. And then slowly begin to deepen your breath to invite transition. And we're going to do exactly what we did on the first pose, but on the left side. So press yourself up. Once again, switch the direction of your bolster and place the edge of the bolster at your left hip. And if you were using a block to help prop or whatever that may look like, I invite you to begin to subtly deepen the breath. And we're going to move into our last transition, and you have an option. We're going to begin our meditation, so feel free to transition to a seated position if you'd like. You can even sit against the wall if you want, or if you want a more restorative position for this next meditation, you are welcome to take that. And it would be maybe a block and your bolster propped, and where you're propped sitting up like this. So you are welcome to take the meditation in a reclined way or in a seated way, sitting on a bolster or a block or back against the wall. Yogi's choice. So this next meditation, if we're working through talking about the topic of happiness and peace are outcomes. So this is a powerful practice. This rhythm that we're bringing us through is the application on getting there, coupled with the questions that were posed to us. This gives us an opportunity to open up in a way that we could see. So this next meditation is known as a self-healing meditation. And I had to practice it 40 days in a row before I could embody it and teach it. And that was 7 years ago. So I have been teaching it ever since. So this meditation was passed down through lineage and it's been one that I've received. So this is my words. This is my embodiment of it with the essence of the teaching. So once you find your position, close your eyes and begin to establish this effortless awareness. If you're seated, maybe your hands are on your knees. If you're laying, you feel comfortable in your arms. Feel the breath enter and leave through the nose. And on your next breath, just slightly breathe out through the lips. And then see if you could draw the breath into your right nostril, more prominently into your right nostril. Out through the lips and into your right nostril. This technique is allowing us to move deeper and deeper internally. Now inhale the opposite nostril. Out through the lips, just slightly, and in through your left nostril. I'm going to do this for about 6 more exhalations. Sense awareness of the vibration and concentration of presence in the brain. Initially sensing and sensitizing your own pranic force. Now returning your breath back to normal. We're going to begin the rest of this meditation leading with more sensitivity. rather than imagining. We'll lead with sensitivity, and we will allow the prana to reveal the sensitivity to you, the energy within us. Now, the first step here is to feel that as your body is breathing in, notice the prana descends, moves from the top of the head to the top of the sacrum. And as your body breathes out, allow the prana to collect at the sacrum, at your second chakra, just below the navel. So filling with sensitivity, the body as you breathe in, moving from the top of the head to the top of the sacrum. And as you exhale, your breath is beginning to build or satiate at the sacrum, at your second chakra below the navel. Continue this process of filling your second chakra with presence and light. Please continue. Presence and light. Prana moving in is illuminating the spine, and the exhale, we're collecting it and satiating. You'll feel this glow. Each inhale. Find the current. Each exhale. Sensing your prana being deposited, building into the space. And if we were using the seed sounds or mantras, you can inhale Sat and exhale Vam. Vam is the sound of the second chakra. And gradually allow your breath to become more silent. But continue to descend and allow prana to collect in this space. Sat Vam. So initially, this is just a way for us to collect this pranic force. But in time, you'll see this as a way to also feed our second chakra with life force. And as we become sated here, or satiated, or fed, or nourished by this prana, you'll sense that it'll wake up. And this waking up, this is the healing reproductive potential that becomes active within us. This is our self-healing tool that becomes active. So please continue with the focus. Continue to see this second chakra waking up. Now with the energy we've collected here, we're going to move it to the second phase of self-healing. So as we're passing through this transition of waking up your second chakra, take your next inhalation and feel the prana current going down and continuing to activate and nurture your second chakra. But now you begin to feel this healing force directed specifically to an area you want to work on. So let's say your knee hurts, or you have a bad shoulder, or a bad hip, or a bad foot. We're going to begin to direct this collection of prana to that area of the body. So we inhale, filling up the second chakra. And as we exhale, we move that prana collection of force, those sensations, to any area in the body. And maybe you are just selecting an overall healing and envision yourself enveloped by this energy. And continue to really see this pranic pathway from your healing center to areas of your body. Please continue. You can direct this healing force wherever you would want to. And now at this point, most likely our breath becomes silent. And the only thing that exists is this pranic force between you and your body. So eventually, the area or the body part you've been directing life force to becomes so full, so satiated that the natural healing potential is unleashed. You can sense it. It feels similar to the energy you brought into your second chakra. And once that body part or your overall being feels so full, that's when your self-healing meditation and practice is no longer needed. You will naturally sense this rest and sense this area or physical body or emotional part of the body, whatever you chose, feel this physical and emotional level of healing and regeneration. Just sense it. When the journey is over, slowly come back to your normal breath. And allow yourself to naturally come out of the meditation. And when you come out of your meditation, I invite you to come to seated. So this self-healing meditation is one meditation that I have used and I use constantly, and it has become such a powerful source. So if it's something that resonates with you, just embody it with your own words. I can help you through it at some point and really practice it so you can embody it and maybe use it to help others that cross your path. It is an amazing tool, and I want to read to you. I brought a direct quote from Rod Stryker, my teacher, about this particular meditation. The prana that we were developing, that we have that tool to access, the prana is the food of the chakras. It's not just that you collected energy, but the chakra itself begins to communicate differently. Now that it's opened, it is tapping into universal energy. You won't be depleting your own energy to heal yourself. And at that point, it now just becomes completely effortless. In that same way you move it to the shoulder or wherever, then you can go on to another transition where the natural healing, reproductive force begins to flow on its own. You can literally affirm energy to your second chakra 6 times and get that feeling of it being saturated, and move it 6 times to move it and feel the natural inclination of the healing reestablished. There is a possibility of real physiological healing, setting that in motion or healing the emotion that is linked to it. Sometimes we feel that the emotion of healing the pain and suffering lifts the pain and emotional samskara around the area. So I'm going to pause here to give everyone an opportunity to journal their experience or kind of remember portions of, journal whatever portions that may have invoked you. We could take a moment and realign and reorient ourselves. Does anybody want to share any of their thoughts or contemplations with the practice, with the meditation? Did it feel disjointed? Did it feel accessible?
It felt very familiar.
Did it?
Yeah.
I love that.
So that's much of the work that I usually do in my own self-care.
So you have a lot of access and openness to your second chakra.
Just all the chakras together as one unit, but with the work of Qigong and the Dantian and bringing all that energy into that central point, it's within that belly second.
The Agni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love that
it's
reflection.
Very familiar.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. I like that. Anybody else feel comfortable sharing their experience?
I have a question.
Sure.
I don't want to say this. Is there a significance about it being the second chakra that we're collecting the prana?
Yes. Yes. That's a really good question. And yeah, your second chakra, that's where our Agni and our fire, that's where our own personal reproductive, our power as humans come from. So that's why we invoke that feeling from this area. That's our central healing area. Like oftentimes, even in Yoga Nidra, I don't know if you noticed yesterday, but in our Yoga Nidra practice, I went through the chakras system, but I intentionally skipped that second chakra right there because it is already being invoked and we don't need to burn it out. So we skip it. You're welcome. Let's see if I have our online community. Looking pretty good here. Deepa did have a question, and I think it might be important for us to bring it up here. Do you think so, Deepa? Can I bring it up out loud, or would you prefer to talk about it offline? I'll let her answer that.
It is hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But, so yeah, I feel a little bit speechless after a practice like that, just because it's a lot to assimilate. But I really wanted to get that through because, like what we were talking about, happiness and peace are outcomes of us doing our work. And if we're talking about the power of meditation and the power of healing to get to that point, this is one potential practical application. When we heal our physical pain and emotional pain, we feel better in our bodies. Happiness is a natural outcome, right? Tapas. Ojas. Tapas. Oh, let's see. Oh, she says, yes, we can discuss it. So an interesting point that happened, and what is funny is because I ended up coughing, and I was going to say something, but ended up like swallowing my own spit or something. So I don't know if this is just like connected or what, but she's like, sometimes I feel restricted when breathing in my throat during exercise. Do you have any suggestions for how to alleviate that? And so ironically, after my cough, I got back and read that. So that is funny. And I said to her, I kind of responded and I said, I'd have to learn a little bit more about the restriction and when it occurs so we can get some more details, because one of the things to remember is we can only practice what's inside of our scope of practice. We are not doctors. We are not nurses. We don't know anything that is like, that might be happening above and beyond someone's individual experience. There's no potential universal answer. Do you guys agree with that?
The only thing I can say, just since you're saying, talking about that, is our scope of practice is some kind of knowledge and energy. And I always think of the second and fifth chakra totally almost connected.
Yeah. Can you hear that? So Debbie is mentioning that she really firmly believes and has that there is a connection between our second and our fifth chakra. And so, if we're weak here, maybe that's where some of the meditation practice needs to go, is like at your throat.
And empowering your voice.
Yeah.
Speaking out and
Yeah. So voice empowerment. So I really appreciate, go ahead.
Yeah, well, just from my energetic work.
Yeah.
Whenever I feel a blockage of something that I'm not speaking my truth.
Yeah, I'm feeling it right now.
It happens in the throat where it gets itchy, scratchy, and then if you focus upon it and actually voice out, and it doesn't have to be vocal, you can just, in your mind, voice it. Sometimes it will alleviate that blockage.
Yeah. So to answer your question from where I think we're comfortable answering it now in our scope of practice is, we can help you, we can just offer the knowledge from maybe the energetics perspective, the chakra system and where we are, because that's as far as my scope of practice goes. So that's what I would focus on here. And then if you're finding problems later on down the road, sometimes especially if it was like the Ujjayi breath that was doing that for you, don't practice it. Practice just the diaphragmatic breath. Because if it's creating a resistance, then eliminate it from your practice. Because each tool does not reflect a healthy outcome for each practitioner. Mm-hmm. I totally agree. Good. I feel that air isn't passing through the area. Okay. So maybe what I would do is stop practicing it, or practice it for not as long until you can get used to it and see if it's something that works for you. All right. So I would like to take a moment and move on to mantras. We need a break? Is everyone okay? Want a little break? Okay. We're all okay? All right. So I want to at least try to get this in here because this one is about living our life. And I think we already kind of talked about it or touched upon it earlier with like, we can look at a picture or a diagram of a yantra, or we could, use a seed sound or something to help get us deeper to invoke the object of our meditation. And mantra is, according to the Tantra lineage, yogic lineage, mantra is the most all-encompassing yoga. And the all-encompassing yoga that can transform the mind. Mantra. Why? Because mantra is a universal vibration. And if we were just talking about how the first sounds and the first things that were heard is vibration, and vibration is, or language is the outcome of vibration. Like language was created through vibration. If Sanskrit is one of the first languages, or I don't think Sanskrit is one of the first languages.
I looked it up.
And it's not, is it?
It's not, it's pretty old.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you, me, and Tanil might have had this conversation, I want to say.
Yeah.
And Bill too, probably. We were probably all there. But yeah, so hence mantra, or it's actually mantra. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Mantra is and mantra as a vibration holds, like what we were talking about, the essence of each chakra, each connection. And mantras, which is really cool, like our meditation is a process, a state of being and focuses on an object, right? Mantra is not something that's objectable or objectable or objective. Yeah, because I'm not objectifying it. It's objectable. Yeah. So it's not objectable like a flame or your breath or something, that gets us into the space. It is, what is it? It's a subject. That's what it says. Mantra is a subject. It is consciousness. It is the thing, not the bridge. So that is where we are wanting to use it. That's why mantra is so powerful. The way I was taught about using mantras, there's so many different mantras out there, and you could essentially use it to heal anything in your body or to look at something within you. There are, everything in our lives is a mantra. And so there's some really cool things out there. So if mantra is one of your things, my gosh, go study it and look at it. But I wanted to share with you that was passed down through me of these 5 universal mantras or open mantras that we could use, because if mantra is not the bridge and we're not using mantra as like a flame or a bridge to get to this deepened state of being, and we just use mantra as a way into our meditation and beyond, unless you are given one specifically by a teacher who understands, there are 5 open or universal mantras that I wanted to share with you guys. The first one, can you guess what it is?
Yeah.
Om. It is Om. And Om, kind of its job, and this is why you could select one that works for you. So this is why I want to offer you 5 of them, unless you're already practicing with your own mantra, so you can see kind of what resonates with you. So Om, which invokes transcendence, peace. It's believed to be the original sound from which all of the other sounds originate from, and a vibration that consists of all that exists. And even if, okay, I'm not going to break down Om right now. That would have to be a different workshop because I want it for the sake of time. Because I mean, there's such a beautiful breakdown of Om. You know, it can be in so many different ways. So the second one is Soham.
So if I can do that, I didn't get to that today, I was thinking.
Yeah, this I have used personally Soham for probably 12 years. This is mine, you know, and it's just the one I've identified with, you know, kind of that inhale of Soham, and to actually do something for this long, yeah. Yeah.
Is it two words? Or
It's in Sanskrit, they smash it together as one, but yeah, usually when we write it out as two, and there's a couple of different ways we can write it out. So the first word, so, S-O, and then hum, H-A-M or H-U-M, and we phonetically write it out as H-U-M, but it's really an H-A-M, and so it's actually smashed together in the Sanskrit, S-O, what would you call that apostrophe? H-A-M. You're welcome. And it means I am that. So is the that, and I am is the right? Yeah. And so hum, the I am that, is really powerful with gathering like scattered parts of the mind, creating the sense of wholeness. So us monkey-minded vatas out there really can identify with the Soham. And then this third one is Rama. Rama. The Ram means to rejoice or enjoy. So that is the word of Rama. Lord Rama, which is it's a deity who is a deity, and he is the seventh ascension of Vishnu. So Rama is a powerful, open mantra that you can use to access positivity and strength in light. This is a good, powerful mantra when you might be entering new stages or closing old chapters in your life. Rama. So the next two, make sure I do good. You're welcome. The next two are a little bit more difficult. I'm not going to lie. But one that I have memorized it's long. It is the Gayatri mantra. And you spell Gayatri, G-A-I-Y-T-R-I, the Gayatri mantra. And it is one of the oldest mantras of the Vedas. And it invokes, it's using the light, like the sunlight. It's bringing in the sunlight and embodying and helping us transform our own internal light. So if you go and research it, you can see the breakdown of each of the words in here. And if we had time, I'd play it for you. It's one of my favorites. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. So I have here in my notes, it is used for celebrating the miracle of divine light outwardly and inwardly, and aligning one's intelligence with the evolutionary power that is the heart of all spiritual teachings, pervading all life. Om. Yep. Should we play it real quick? I'm going to play it real quick. It is so pretty. Om. That's it. Oh, look, I just happened to have it pulled up because I was listening to it before class. Let me go to my settings here. Connected, please. Thank you. And the version that I pulled up was by Diva Primal.
Oh, yeah.
So pretty.
That's my favorite.
Right? Is that too loud? Maybe. Too loud? Is it too loud? Okay, just so we can listen. I have it written out here. If somebody wants to look at the Sanskrit words, can pass this around. Yeah, I'll make sure Isn't it just so pretty? I'll listen to one more round and then I'll pause it for us so we can move on. Yeah, that's a Gayatri mantra. Look at all of us just basking in all of this energy we've created today. I love it. And then the last open mood mantra is another long one as well. And maybe we could play that again here if I can find it. For short, it's called Mahamitri, but it's the Mahamitri Unaya mantra. Mahamitri Unaya, right? Did I say that right? Yeah. Mahamitri Unaya. And we break it down as the Mahamitri. Mutri. But let me spell that out for you so then you can do a little research and look for it. So I'll give you the full name. MAHAMITRIUNJAYA. Mantra.
Can you spell that out?
You bet. I know, right? Okay, I'll spell it again. MAHAMITRIUNJAYA. Did I go too fast again?
No, isn't it a word like Maitri?
Yes. MAHAMRITY. Yeah, Mahamitri.
So it's just those four fortifications, but it might be a different.
Oh, it might be, yeah. But this mantra is dedicated to Shiva. And it is chanted for healing and to overcome the fear of death. Considered a powerful healing force that can rejuvenate the body and the mind. So yeah. So it is 3:40 and we have had a pretty stiff 4 hours here. I really wanted to do one more meditation, but I think it might fry us. I really feel that it might fry us. Do you have thoughts on that? How are you guys feeling? I can describe what it is that I wanted to go through. If you want to go through it, I'm happy to bring us through it. It's more breath centered. I was going to have you choose a mantra. One of the first ones I was going to suggest So Home, and then just kind of like incorporate this into a breath mantra. But I know we've done a lot of breath work, but what I will do instead of guiding us through it, let me just kind of read what this is like, so then you know how to potentially incorporate the vibration or the mantra into your meditation. Does that sound like a good plan, a good alternative? Okay.
I just have a really quick question.
Sure.
Sometimes I've had so long mantra,
Mm-hmm.
work with it would be the opposite, it would be hum sa. Have you heard that before? Is that, are you thinking perhaps that's just, it's one plane?
Well, I feel like I have, because just as you did that, I wanted to inhale hum, sa,
Yeah.
sa, but I think it's a different essence. I really think it's, Mary Baker would know. You know, she would be the one who would know, but I'm thinking that's a different essence, because so hum, the I am that, it's a completely different tone and vibration. You inhale so, you exhale hum. So with all of these different mantras that we just did, you can look up specific meditations just built around them. What I want to do is just kind of walk us through like a meditation, or just kind of like a guided meditation where it's incorporated, but it's more breath infused. So I'm just going to read it real quick from my notes. So it's almost kind of like a 61-point body scan, that we did, but it's more so with the breath. So always making sure that you scan the body. We got to prepare the body for meditation, or else the meditation becomes lost upon us. So if that's one thing that I recommend as a takeaway, is prepare your body and your breath, or else the meditation is lost. We're not in a receiving state of being. But for example, I'm just going to read what I was going to go through. So after we've let go and we picked a mantra, and I'm going to use So Hum. You can guide this as like, you're just aware of the body and your breath, you relax, and you feel as though you are inhaling this stream of boundless presence of light and wisdom. So I'm using So Hum, which is like the light and wisdom. And just feel it streaming in through your head and moving down the spine and into your chest. And you can see kind of like, we can see kind of a pattern here that we've shown through our meditation so far this weekend. We're illuminating the Sushumna. We're illuminating our energetic self. So I want to make that point. And as you exhale, make sure you feel it and allow this particular one to fill your spiritual heart, or your heart center. Because if we have the heart intelligence that we talked about, we need to go to the heart center, right? We need to illuminate that. And then your next inhale, feel negativity, sadness, suffering, all lift out of the head. And as you exhale your intention to release all of the darkness that's been sitting on the light of the heart. And as you inhale, absorb this universal intelligence and this healing light, and exhale, filling the heart. Bring it to the heart space. Inhale, feeling all of these dark clouds floating up, and exhale, disperse it out of your body and mind. The in-breath, universal intelligence. Exhale, positivity, flooding the spaces within. So if we've lifted everything, we're bringing this in. And then if we have the intention of truly letting go of stress, have the intention to be free of the darkness that sits on this light. And this is the part where you add in breathing in your so and exhaling your hum. I am that, or that I am. You are that universal creation. You are that universal intelligence, that powerhouse. And we gather and collect and we bring it to our heart intelligence. Yesterday we were talking about the 250,000 neurons that are located in the brain sit at our heart space. And this is where we pass it through the body and our belief systems. So that's where you add it in, and then you sit with it and flow with your meditation. Let it take you deep. Let it bring up those dark clouds and add your mantra to it. And then all of a sudden, you're going to be speaking it. You're going to be saying the words. So hum. And then soon, especially if you practice this 40 days in a row with that whole embodiment, you will become it. It becomes you. The vibration is waiting for you to tap into. It's there. It's yours to have. And it's really cool once you kind of just have those aha moments of how the certain elements of the practice can really perceive you or affect you.
I wonder if, these are great resources the guide training.
Yeah.
From data now. There's an app that's, you all know about Insight Timer.
Yeah, did you guys hear that online? Insight Timer. It's a great app. I love that app.
I do, and I wonder if they have.
There's a lot of Tara Brock on there. Isn't she on there quite a bit? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she is. But also, it might be interesting to just check, because they have so many different aspects to it. They do have mantra, like.
They have lots of little yoga nidras as well, as far as like if you only have a 20-minute or you want to specify it towards something. Like yesterday, I kind of took our nidra and made it towards stress reduction.
Yeah.
So you can alter the nidras for a specific outcome.
Yeah, and they have, different voices. Sometimes there's a voice that just creates. Yeah. Yes, yeah. So it's really, it's free. You can do the paid version, which isn't very much either. And then they have courses you can take it. I bet if it's not just the free version, that they have something with some of these mantras.
Oh, absolutely. I bet they do. And I just want to make sure, like, I felt that mantra is important. Oh, of course, I have one more thing.
Yeah.
You ready for it? Your last journaling question.
Okay.
We have to wrap it all up and put a pretty bow on it. You ready for the last question? What is my heart's desire of why I am here? What is my heart's desire of why I am here? And this is not an intellectual answer. Don't intellectualize it. Maybe.
That's why I am here, you mean here.
Great questions.
Are we going deeper?
Maybe you'll write a poem about it. Oh, that's what I'll do on my next workshop. I'll bring in some free poetry writing, free form for us. But we have about 10 minutes until 4 o'clock. Any final thoughts or questions? Kind of a big topic for 2 4-hour sessions.
Yeah,
And I think we really try to fit a lot in between application and science. So it could be a lot. So when we go home, like we used to say, Julian Walker would say this to us, after you leave an immersion, and we want to bring the community and we want to bring these experiences together again, because it's so powerful to experience in person if it's possible. But you go back, you walk out of here leaving like yoga drunk. You're like, where am I? What am I doing? And you feel inspired. You have all these aha moments. Oh my God, I'm not good enough. I'm great. I've got this tool. I've got this tool. But remember, they're all just applications, and we get to immerse in it and feel, just the ice of the tip of the iceberg. See, I'm leaving here yoga drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
But remember to go home to your kitchen table self. That's what Julian Walker would tell us. Go home to your kitchen table self and let everything marinate and settle, and eat dinner with it.
And we invited that because we, as Julian Walker comes on the call to these, and my students are a lot of cabin too. It's a big old spot, and he was like, we're driving home in the dark down this mountain road.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys, you're a little yoga drunk right now, so just take it with you, drive carefully, go to your kitchen table, go back to
your kitchen table self and assimilate. So maybe that's the same thing as grounding or earthing. We really need to take that in, but definitely leave here inspired. If there's just one little one more quote. Because this was so important for me, because I would get overwhelmed with these immersions and stuff. And it is from Rod Stryker. He says, master one part of yoga and you will understand all the others. The light will transfer to all areas of methodology of yoga. So allow that to help inspire you and keep you on your path of growth and education, because there is no way in our lifetimes we can perceive it all. But if we find one niche and feel like we're mastering that, it will all reveal itself to us. Yeah.
And the practices, like all of the stuff that we learn and all of the study and the workshops and everything, and they're all in you. So instead of getting in your head about, I have to remember and what they say, it's inside, it's there and it'll come up. It'll just keep spilling out.
Yes.
That's been my experience. So don't worry about that part.
So Deepa, she concurs with Insight Timer. Oh, so she has a question here. Would you discuss how yoga works with non-attachment, which is the basis of yoga? Oh, wow. Deepa, that's a good question at 4:00.
It's the last glacier. Remember,
It really is.
we're attached to having control, but I think Linda was going to say something too, but that's to me kind of the big glacier, the big problem.
Yeah, and maybe it is what his quote is mastering one is really what he's discussing is this non-attachment concept, because when we remove attachment, we are all that is.
It's letting go of this, cutting the cord to the spaceship, flying on your own.
Yeah.
Just gotta show up and look out.
Yeah, not attached to the outcomes. I think what modern, how it takes, you could say the same thing 5 different ways. And then it's just one person will say it one way that gives you that aha moment. And I think with non-attachment, one of the modern day aha moments is Mel Robbins' Let Them. I don't know if you're familiar with Mel Robbins' Let Them. You just kind of lean out of the way, you let them. You are not attached to that outcome. You're not attached to their emotional baggage. You're not attached to your emotional baggage. It's That's the non-attachment.
I love that you mentioned Mel Robbins. She's really fun. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's more. That's the thing too, right? There's always more. Like, yeah, there's more.
Right.
I think you get to this certain point.
The older we get, yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of living life. We get everything revealed.
And we were talking about fear and letting go of fear earlier.
Yeah.
And always Frank Herbert comes to mind. In
Author.
Dune, it quotes, "I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little deaths that bring a total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it is gone, past, I will turn the inner eye to that path. And where fear is gone, there will be nothing. Only I will remain."
Oh, I love that. Oh, that is
And
beautiful.
It's always that thought that's like,
Yeah.
I will face it, I'll let it go through,
Yeah.
and I will remain as the unattached.
Yeah. Have you guys read Rumi's Guest House? Yeah. Poem. Same concept.
Yeah.
Be the guest house. Let every joy, every sorrow, just sweep your house clean and make room for more. Yeah.
That's Frank Herbert, Dune. Frank.
Frank Herbert Dune.
From Dune. Paul Atreides bots fear of speech. That's one that always sticks with me.
That was good. I liked it. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Debbie, any house cleaning closing thoughts you want to share?
Thank you all for your energy, for being here, and being so open and receptive and your questions and all that. Thank you, Jennifer, for opening up this space, and just every one of you that you brought to this place. Remaining open heart and willingness to learn, so thank you. Appreciate your being here. And if you do want anything, like I said something, like a
Debbie, can you come up here? I want to make sure that they can hear you too, and it sounds really soft.
if you all, if there was something I mentioned that I could send you, like there were some different things that people asked about. I will forget, like I remember there was something that, people said, oh, would you send me that? Just email me and I'll get it to you. I have lots of.
Yeah. And I'll email my outlines out too, so
Okay.
you could have that with the questions and the mantras and stuff on them.
Yeah, that's right. That would be good.
Yeah.
And you can, either just text us or email, whatever. Okay? But,
Thank you guys so
Again,
much.
thank
It was
you.
nice to meet everyone.
We'll do it again. Yes.
Yeah. Bye, online community.
Yeah. Now that the band's back together.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a moment.
Here, I'll let you work with your
Computer. Okay. That's just one.
Oh, good.
But,
And I think this is all mine.
yeah.
All right.
It is.
All right, so I owe you stuff. I'll
And
get
I
that
love
started.
it. It looks so peaceful.
It does look good, huh?
I
I was
just
like,
thought,
oh.
because I had some really plastic pictures right on the advertising. She said, it could be out and just look flat. It's a way to know that these are people. And I should have just sat like that, because it's like, yeah.
Yeah, right? The shadow.
So beautiful.
Yeah, next time we do the next workshop, we'll have her come and snap some pictures. That'd be great.
Do you know what I'm talking about? The women who classes with the
Was it Pat?
I think it might be.
Yeah, Pat. She's a photographer, but I have my social media.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that's different.
Because Pat was just, she was standing there, I said, here, would you take a picture?
Aw.
That's not really gonna look right bad.
Yeah, that's Pat.
She's a girl.
It's really nice to meet you guys.
It was great. How are you?
It was great. I brought my journal today, so I put them on. Should have been here yesterday. Whoops. Now we don't. Yeah. Yeah,
That's so funny that Pat is radiant vaccine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess I was just never talking about it too.
Yeah, and I saw on this easy as the two put together, so, I love Facebook, right? Yeah. Yes, it does, it does.
Thank you.
I sent that quote to you.
Oh, good, thank you. Oh, I better turn this off. In stream. And